Hey guys, Mark Lyon here, Lyon Horsemanship. Today it's a little snowy. Got a little bit of, there's just a little bit of snow on the ground. And so we are going to work on a couple things inside. Gonna make some snaffle bits today. So just kind of want to give you a little shot of what we do when the weather's super bad. Got a nice little shop here. We're gonna go inside and see if we can stay warm. Came in here earlier, turned the cowboy furnace on, otherwise known as the forge, and got it pretty toasty in here. Now we're gonna build a few bits. Here I'm rolling some rings, and I roll a bunch of them at one time, and I just cut them up to put them on the snaffle bits. And I'm making these 2.5-inch diameter. Now a normal kind of, I guess the standard is about 3 inches. But I found that especially for these, for some colts, that some guys are going to be starting, that the 2.5-inch diameter actually works a little bit better. They're a little lighter, and they also help your headstall to fit a little better because they're a little bit smaller. So they tend to work a little bit better on those young horses. So we're going to take that stack of rings that we bent, and we're going to cut them all at once. Saves a little bit of time. And then we're going to use those for all of our snaffle rings. So just cutting them apart here. Here I'm cutting the mouthpieces for the snaffles. This is 3/8, which is pretty standard for a snaffle mouthpiece. And I cut them a little bit longer than I need them. And the reason I do that is I want to be able to make them custom. And I have some guys that have some Arabs, and some of the guys that are using them for starting colts, they want them a little smaller because their mouths are a little bit smaller, and so they want them 4 3/4. 5 inches is standard on a snaffle. And then I also have some customers that have some draft process, and so I try to be able to make them that size, whatever they want. So I do make some draft snaffles for those guys, and it really helps to get the right size mouthpiece width for them. So here I'm making the hinge or the swivel that's in the middle of your snaffle. And so I'm making these, and what I do is I make a bunch of them at once. I take a rod and bend it around there, and then I cut them up and join them together, and then weld them, and then we weld them in the middle of the mouthpiece. And I like using stainless for this because the stainless is a little tougher, and so it wears better. Doesn't seem to wear out, and most people aren't going to wear a snaffle mouthpiece out at the hinge there, but I have seen a few guys wear them out, and so I don't want anybody to do that on mine. So I make it out of stainless, and it's a little bit tougher to weld. You have to use a little bit different processes, but I think it's a little bit better, so that's what I do. Okay, so I've spent the first few hours making pieces, and so I've made some rings. These are the cheek rings for the snaffle. I've made some mouthpieces. I've cut up these are 3/8 rod, and I've tapered them a little bit because I think they look a little bit better when they're tapered. And I don't know if the horse really cares that much, but I think it looks a little bit nicer and is a little bit better for them. So that's what I do. I've made some of these little rings and then joined them together to make a little swivel. So that's going to be the piece in the middle that allows that snaffle to kind of move back and forth and swivel. And then I've got some of these little hinge pieces. These are stainless steel pieces that I drilled a hole into. And so those are going to be for the D ring. And then I've got some little balls here, stainless steel balls that have a hole drilled in them, and those are going to be for the ball hinge. So depending on what you like. Anyway, I'm going to make up a few of these and try to stay warm here in the shop and get them going. So this is heliarc. It's a welding process, also called TIG welding, which stands for tungsten inert gas. And heliarc is an arc between a piece of tungsten, which is in that little holder, and the metal. And then you add filler rod to it, and it's surrounded while you're welding by a shielding gas, a cloud of shielding gas, and it makes a really clean weld. It's a little bit tough. Takes some practice to get used to it, but it's very clean and very pure weld, very strong. Although it is a little bit slower than your wire feed or stick welding is, and so it's a little bit slower, but boy, it makes a really nice weld, especially on the stainless. The stainless, when it gets hot, corrodes pretty easily, and it'll get some black corrosion on it, and that shielding gas that's on there really helps keep that to a minimum. And you can also, when I get done, and I have a foot pedal that stops the weld, that cuts the electricity, and then you'll see I keep the cup there, and that cup is blowing that shielding gas over the puddle until it cools off, and that keeps the corrosion down and really makes a nice finished product at the end. So this shot is from inside the welding helmet. You're going to be able to see what it actually looks like inside that shaded lens, and actually see what I can see inside. And it's not super clear, but it does give you an illustration on what it looks like from inside. Okay, so I got these pieces welded up. Swivel piece in the middle, little hinge piece on each side, and then of course this one's got the ball on it, and so we're gonna start putting some inlay in there. I'm gonna put some copper inlay in there, and I'll come back in a minute. Okay, I don't know if you can see that very well, but I've inlaid some copper in there, and so we've just got some copper inlaid in there that'll help the horse's mouth kind of be wet and increases a little lubrication. Just kind of makes everything a little bit better. It also helps him work his mouth a little bit. He kind of wants to chew on it just a little bit and move his tongue in there, and that helps him just be a little bit more relaxed too. Kind of encourages that. So not necessarily a thing you have to have, but I like a little copper on mine. Just makes him, I found it helps the horse kind of relax a little bit better, and they seem to like it a little bit better. So that's what I do. Okay, so we got everything welded up, and I kind of put a little polish on this one actually. So this is going to be the ball hinge. You can see that there's a little ball with a hinge piece on the top and bottom. So now all I have to do is add the rings to this one, and it'll be done. And this one is one I already put the rings on, and it's just a regular D-ring. Just got a little, the 3 hinge pieces there, and got it on there, so it's ready to go. Got it all polished up, so ready to use. Well, I got all my snaffle bits done, and I stayed pretty warm in the shop today, so hope you enjoyed the little, I guess my little journey in making some of these things. And there's the finished product for this one. This is actually going to be a topic for a little discussion I'm going to talk about on a future video. These are some new snaffles that I'm making, and so we're gonna go over some of the features of those. Here on the table, I've got kind of an assortment of snaffles that I made. I got some friends of mine that were looking for some, and so they found out I was making a few, and so they placed some orders. So I've got a kind of an O-ring. Actually, this is a ball hinge one here. Basic D-ring. Some O-ring snaffles. So just a little bit of everything. So anyway, hope you guys stayed warm. I know I was really thankful to have a shop to work in and get some stuff done today. So catch you next time.